Hi everybody, here's Christian from Team Orcast, and I forgot to be blue.
You're blue enough to me. This is really odd from my perspective because it sounds like one hand clapping. Like we are very nearly 100% in sync, and it just sounds like one person's clapping.
How does one hand clapping sound?
Like, can you hear that?
You mean like this?
No, that's too hard.
That's good. That's good. Anyway, so yeah, this is our Monster Hunter Generations, and we are blue because we are fighting a blue monster today.
Yep, and we're going to do the Fisherman's Fiend and Hunt of the Geocrest on the deserted island. It's from the Frontier Baron.
Yikes. This is horrible. We've just heard from our fishermen out in the sea that all the Geocrest is here in this region. We need you to stop it before it does any serious damage.
You know, Cthulhu, I've been missing this. I've been missing this so much. It's great. At some point I will hire you for you to narrate every text in my game. So you're my personal narrator.
There was a time the past 3 weeks when I thought about actually narrating my own book. Because I've been going through The Expanse on audiobook. And book 4, they used a completely different voice actor. And it was the worst voice actor you could ever imagine. And I'm just sitting there like, why? I'd rather just read this book aloud and listen to my own voice instead of...
I'm not sure if I read the same audiobook version, but I think there was a change. I didn't find it too bad, but you know, it's... I had different books where the narrator ruined my experience.
It was like the guy who did this book obviously didn't listen to any of the accents from the previous book.
So you just started making them all up,
and all of them were very robotic. He read very monotonous, and where the previous voice actor or narrator had very animated voices for some of the characters. Like this guy, they all sounded the same, other than a slight pitch difference. It's like, oh, just make it end. It was the one audiobook that it's taken me the longest to get through because I was just having problems actually just listening to it.
Which one is the fourth? Is this the one on the planet?
It was the Colony one.
That's also the worst book.
Yeah, it was. You know, when you get used to hearing a specific voice for Amos or Abasaralon and everything, and then this guy, it was just why?
Shepard, you are not familiar with The Expanse, right?
I'm sorry. I'm just sitting here, kind of doing my own thing.
Shepard, it's a TV series. You can watch it. It's great.
We were talking about watching it while I play classic video games.
Yes.
And I like to focus. I like to be present in whatever activity I'm doing. I can't multitask like that. I apologize.
Okay. So give me an update on what the current situation is. Do you have the vitals monitor, the medical monitor attached to it?
So my anus endoscopy monitor is arrived. Okay. It is here. It is set up. I have gotten my Super Nintendo Mini modded for RGB out. Connected with a RGB SCART to BNC connector, so giving me the purest of the analog signal I could ever hope to get. And man, it's expensive, but I would say very much worth it, I guess.
Is it? Yes. Yes.
You know, I mean, look, if that's something you're passionate about, right?
Yes.
So if you just want to get something up and play it, you know, there is really no problem doing it through an emulator, on a screen, doing whatever. But if you grew up with that stuff, there's something about the authenticity of it that really can't be beat. And that setup is good. You know, it's nice. I mean, it makes you remember certain things that CRTs make weird noises.
Oh yeah.
A lot of us forgot that. Maybe some of us didn't. I kind of did.
There's this high-pitched, very weird high-pitched sound when you turn it on.
And some make it worse than others. And as they get older, you know, some of them get worse. It's something about a flyback transformer that you need to go in and spray the equivalent of electrical glue on if you want to make it sound better, which I'm hesitant to do. I would rather not go inside my $250 device and start spraying glue around in there.
I don't know. I do it every day. It's good. It's fine.
You make love to your monitors?
If anyone does that, it's going to be Christian with his drone repairs.
Yeah, it's fine. It's good. It's what you do.
Well, next time you're in the United States, I'll bring it over. You can spray glue in my my PVM.
I mean, you probably don't want the same thing happen to your TV that happens to my drones on the regular basis.
No. No. But overall, it's good. I've played some games. You know, I mostly focus on playing the games that I could not have played earlier in life. So I got this one game. It's called Live a Live.
Live a Live.
Yeah, it's a charming little game, later era Squaresoft. It's kind of like a strategy RPG, but like very small scale battles, and that you're taking battles on these little grids. And that's not really the interesting part, although it's refreshing because every time you finish a battle, you get out of it and everybody's completely healed and there's no resources or anything like that. So you just focus on positioning and what abilities to use. But it's the characters in it, right? So this is back in a time when you can just kind of do weird stuff. So, like, yeah, you've got your one generic teenage psychic superhero guy, but then, like, you've got all these little scenarios. Like, one scenario is, like, this old martial arts master. Like, you're literally playing as this, like, really old dude that knows martial arts and he's looking for, like, a disciple, right?
Mm-hmm.
You've got another one you're playing as, like, a little robot. You've got one you're playing as a cowboy. You've got one you're playing as a caveman. Like, you kind of get it, right? Like, there's a lot of really interesting variety here. And it was never brought over, which, again, you know, you start thinking about, like, you know, the decisions companies had to come up with. It's like you're talking about 96, 97. You've got, like, a $60 or $70 cartridge going up against, like, a $50 copy of, like, Final Fantasy VII. Like, they're not bringing that over to the United States. Like, I don't blame them for not bringing it over. Like, that would have been a critical failure. But it's still a good game. Still looks good. Still plays good. Still has an interesting story. Yes. Stuff that you're not really going to get anywhere else. And I'm just enjoying it. It's just, the original controller and the original screen, knowing 100% that what you're seeing is what was meant and that there's not some hack or something somewhere. And I'll just say, like, what really...
Nice tale.
Thank you. What got me into it was trying to play Game Boy Advance games on an emulator.
Yeah.
Because Game Boy Advance games kind of have a little farty noise to them, like kind of like a Genesis. Like the music always kind of like has a little bit of a fart element.
Little known fact, it was created by a little fart chip inside you.
That's what it sounds like to me.
I think I know what you mean.
I can't tell sometimes whether, like, is that like the emulator that's emphasizing the fart noise, or is that just what it sounds like?
Oh, I see what you mean with fart noise. Like sometimes when emulators are
a little farty.
Yeah, the sound a little bit choppy, right? Sometimes, especially in Game Boy Advance games,
especially Game Boy Advance games,
they had like this kind of choppy quality a little bit. It was kind of intentional to make it sound. I don't know. I guess more.
Who the hell knows what?
Yeah. So sometimes we just cannot really tell if that's the emulator just bugging out or if that's actually supposed to sound like this.
So, maybe my next step, maybe not. I'm importing a PAL Region GameCube, which can output SCART, RGB SCART, and getting a Game Boy Advance player, which is region free. And I'm going to start getting some Game Boy Advance games on there. That's like really my ideal. It's kind of like that 16-bit non-3D.
Game Boy Advance on a TV? Why?
Well, my favorite console is not the Game Boy Advance Micro. I'm sorry.
The Game Boy Advance Micro is the best console that Nintendo has ever made.
It's the smallest console, and that's why you like it.
It's beautiful. It has incredible battery time. It has incredible screen. It fits into the tiny pocket in your jeans. You know how your jeans have like two pockets? And there's like
the coin pocket.
There's the coin pocket and there's the big pocket. The Micro fits into the coin pocket. It's so good.
But the coin pocket's for coins.
The only thing I want to say is if you've got some bizarre quasi-sexual attraction to scan lines, playing it in that setup will allow you to play Game Boy Advance games with scan lines.
Okay, yeah, that's we both have our fetishes. You have the scanline fetish. I have the small things fetish, I guess.
Something. Well, my PVM is
we all know why you have a small thing fetish.
Yeah, you could,
because everything I touch on my body is huge.
That's true. And he wants to emphasize how large he is. He'll look like a giant. Like
if only I use this Game Boy Mini, then my hands will look giant.
You need like to make a Xbox or a PSN name like Retro Hodor or something like that.
but you know, I think maybe the reason why I really like the Micro is that it had a really great bright screen.
It did. It had it was like almost like OLED quality in how bright it was.
Crazy.
Right? It was an IPS panel, wasn't it?
Yeah, you wouldn't even play it on full strength because you wouldn't just because the previous the first Game Boy Advance was just horrible screen. There was no backlight. There was no light situation on this planet where this screen looked good.
Yeah, that was a mistake.
It was a huge mistake. The second, the SP, was okay, but was still front lit.
There's people that pay to get their SPs backlit, I believe.
Yes, but it's a very complicated thing. So it was a good screen, nice large screen, but still front lit. That makes it a little bit. And so the Micro is where they got the screen right. It's nice, crisp, it's bright, it's burning your eyes. That's what I want. I want the game images to imprint themselves on my retina.
Well, I mean, it's not that... So it's an interesting thing now, right? I always talk about playing the game as the developer intended. Was there ever a Game Boy Advance developer out there that would intend for their art to be imprinted with scanlines? Probably not. But the art style does lend itself well to it.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
well, so that would be my...
It's pixel art. It's made for scanlines.
Scanlines complement it well.
Yeah, that's true. So on that note, we're going to move on. A beautiful Geocross fight here. I really like the tail cut. And we're going to see what comes next time around. I hope you will join us next time. As always, good luck and good hunt.
Going after that booty.
Scanlines.
Scanline booty.
Scanline booty. Swiggity swooty. You could, if you were going to prison, you could smuggle a Game Boy Micro in your anus.
This episode was brought to you by Squatty Potty. It's potty approved.